everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wikipedia reading. I hope you're all doing well and feeling rested. And in this episode, I'm going to be taking a look at the Jurassic Park franchise. So I have the Wikipedia page here loaded, and we're just going to be taking a look at the majority of the information contained within the page. And also included in this video will be some DVD tapping sounds. And I actually have here the original Jurassic Park DVD from 1993. So, let's begin at the top of the page here. Jurassic Park, later also referred to as Jurassic World, is an American science fiction media franchise centered on a disastrous attempt to create a theme park of cloned dinosaurs. It began in 1990 when Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment bought the rights to Michael Crichton's novel Jurassic Park before it was published. And I'm not 100% sure if I've pronounced the author's name there, Michael Crichton. I think that might be right. Crichton. And I believe he is no longer with us, sadly. So if I just offer his name there, we can see, yeah, he is unfortunately no longer with us. The book was successful, as was Steven Spielberg's 1993 film adaptation. And this movie really takes me back to my childhood, as I'm sure it does for some of you as well. It came out in 1993 and it was really just, I think it was the biggest movie of that year. It was all everybody was talking about, and when I was at school, so many of the boys got Jurassic Park school bags and lunch boxes and things of that nature, so yeah, it was so popular. The film received a theatrical 3D re-release in 2013 and was selected in 2018 for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. A 1995 sequel novel, The Lost World, was followed by a film adaptation in 1997. Subsequent films in the series, including Jurassic Park 3, are not based on the novels. And we will discuss Jurassic Park 3 in a bit more detail later on in this video, but it is pretty much one of the worst movies ever made, in my opinion. But as I say, we will get into that later. In 2015, a second trilogy of films began with the fourth film in the series, Jurassic World. The movie was successful, becoming the first film to gross over $500 million worldwide in its opening weekend, and grossed over $1.6 billion through the course of its making it the third highest grossing film at the time. When adjusted for monetary inflation, Jurassic World is the second highest grossing film in the franchise after Jurassic Park. A sequel, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, grossed over $1.3 billion worldwide, making it the third Jurassic film to pass the billion-dollar mark. It is the third highest grossing film of 2018 and the 13th highest grossing film of all time. The final film in the trilogy, Jurassic World: Dominion, is scheduled to be released on June the 10th, 2022, which, as of the release of this video, was yesterday. So, let's see what we have here. Jurassic World. Yes, I saw that movie back maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anywhere near as good as the first one. And to me anyway, the first Jurassic Park is really the only movie in the franchise that I would class as being a 10 out of 10. As for the rest, they're not quite as good. But I can understand why people, particularly younger people, might enjoy the Jurassic World series more than the original. But I think for people of a certain age, you're always going to prefer the first Jurassic Park over anything else. And we have the sequel, Fallen Kingdom, which I haven't actually seen. I've seen clips of it, and to be honest, I don't really have any plans to see it. But according to the facts here, it has been very successful. And of course, we have the new one just out, which is Jurassic World Dominion. And I have to admit, I don't know what the story is, but I do know that some of the original characters are back. So for that reason, it would actually appeal to me more just to see those old characters back from the first movie. And here we have the original Jurassic Park logo from 1993, and in my opinion it is the best logo as well, and it gives me the most nostalgia from looking at it. But I do think that the new Jurassic World logo is very neat looking as well, and I like the colours of it, which we will see later on in this video. So if we just scroll on down here, we can take a look at the background. The Jurassic Park franchise focuses on resurrected dinosaurs which wreak havoc on humans. The dinosaurs, created as theme park attractions, are cloned through genetic engineering. The process is accomplished by extracting ancient DNA from mosquitoes, which sucked the blood of dinosaurs and then became fossilized in amber, preserving the DNA. Although the films primarily take place on islands, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom sees the dinosaurs relocated throughout the world, including the US mainland. Okay, well, I never knew that. And knowing that fact would actually make the movie appeal to me more. So we'll have to see if I end up watching it, and perhaps through making this video it will actually appeal to me even more. The film series is notable for its recreation of dinosaurs achieved primarily through animatronics and computer-generated imagery. The first film was praised for its dinosaur effects and created an increased interest in the field of paleontology, while changing the public perception of dinosaurs with its modern portrayal. Later films largely ignored recent paleontological, I'm not sure if I've pronounced that right, paleontological findings. I did my best to maintain continuity with the earlier installments, leading to criticism among paleontologists. Jurassic World Dominion will introduce feathered dinosaurs in line with modern discoveries. Well, I really like that fact, and I think it's a great inclusion to use these feathered dinosaurs, especially if they have only been discovered in recent years. I think that's really good. And here we have some information on InGen, which is the fictional company from the film series. And we also have some information here on the islands. So first of all, we have Isla Nublar. Isla Nublar is a fictional island that serves as a major setting in the first novel and its film adaptation, as well as the films Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. According to the novel, its name means Colloid Island in Spanish. The tropical island is located 120 miles west of Costa Rica and has an inactive volcano. In the first novel and film, Isla Nublar is the location of Jurassic Park, a dinosaur theme park proposed by InGen, but it fails to open after the animals escape. That's an understatement. In the novel, the Costa Rican government declares the island unsafe and has it napalmed. Napalmed. It's quite an interesting word, I like it. In the film series, the island continues to exist until the Jurassic World trilogy. In Jurassic World, the theme park idea has been carried out successfully by Masrani Global Corporation. By the end of the film, however, the island is overrun by dinosaurs once again. In Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Isla Nublar is destroyed when its volcano becomes active again and erupts. So I guess if you haven't seen Fallen Kingdom like me, you have just been spoiled, but it's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about that. And we also have some information here on Isla Sorna. Isla Sorna, also called Site B, is another fictional island. It is 87 miles southwest of Isla Nublar and 207 miles west of Costa Rica. It is the main setting of the second novel and its film adaptation, as well as the third film. Isla Sorna is where InGen conducted much of its dinosaur research. It is here that the dinosaurs were bred before being shipped off to Isla Nublar. A laboratory on the latter island was built only as a showroom for tourists. Isla Sorna is significantly larger than Isla Nublar and has various climates, including has been set up as a biological preserve for the animals. Isla Sorna is part of a 5-island chain known as Los Cinco Muertes, the 5 deaths, although the other islands do not play a role in the novels or films. The status of Isla Sorna is not mentioned in Jurassic World or Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but a promotional website for the latter film states that the island's ecosystem suffered a breakdown after illegally cloned animals were introduced there. The surviving dinosaurs were relocated to Isla Nublar for the opening of the Jurassic World theme park, leaving Sorna abandoned. So yeah, I do actually remember in Jurassic Park 3, that is the island that they were on, and we got to see one of the sort of testing areas and breeding areas, and there was quite a decent, I would say, chase scene involving in that particular area. And if we scroll on down, we have some information there on the novels. First of all, the 1990 novel by Michael Crichton, but it says he actually conceived the idea in 1983, and it was about a pterosaur being cloned from fossil DNA. Okay, so yeah, it's quite interesting to learn when and how the original concept for movies and things are born. So yeah, that's very good to know, I think. After wrestling with the idea for a while, he came up with the story of Jurassic Park. Crichton worked on the book for several years. He decided his first draft would have a theme park for the setting, similar to the 1973 film Westworld, and a young boy as the main character. Response was extremely negative, so Crichton rewrote the story to make it from an adult's point of view, which resulted in more positive feedback. Steven Spielberg learned of the novel in October 1989, while he and Crichton were discussing a screenplay that would become a TV series, ER. Warner Brothers Pictures, Columbia Pictures, 20th Century Fox, and Universal Pictures bid for the rights to the novel before its publication. So by the sounds of that, they knew that this was going to be very popular, and they all wanted to gain the rights to make the movie. In May 1990, Universal acquired the rights with the backing of Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment. Crichton put up a non-negotiable fee for $1.5 million, as well as a substantial percentage of the gross. Universal further paid Crichton $500,000 to adapt his own novel. Universal desperately needed money to keep their company alive, and partially succeeded with Jurassic Park as it became a critical and commercial success. So yeah, that's sort of a very brief history of how the first novel came to be, and how eventually it was made into the feature film Jurassic Park from 1993. And here we have an image of Michael Crichton's Jurassic World, which is the 2 novels set second movie, The Lost World. Jurassic Park was released in 1997, and I do enjoy the sequel, but not as much as I've mentioned as the first. I would rate the first as a 10 out of 10, and the second I would probably give, I would say, a 7. I thought there was too many characters in the second movie, and the third movie, well, I don't want to talk too much about this movie, but as I mentioned at the start, I do think it is one of the worst movies ever made. It's terrible. The characters are not likable, especially the main couple. I thought the kid, Eric, was okay, and then we have the cannon fodder, or I guess you could call them the pilots, and the guy, I think he was like a mercenary or something, he was along for the ride to help them. His name was Cooper. He got killed at the very start as soon as they arrived. Even Alan Grant, he just wasn't himself. There was so many cheesy lines in that movie. And we also had the character of Billy, who I think was probably the one redeeming factor about Jurassic Park 3. If he wasn't there, I would give it a straight up 0. But I think because of Billy and some moments that were quite suspenseful, I would probably give it about a 3 out of 10. And then we have Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom from 2018. And of course the new movie, which is just being released as of 2022. And here we have some information on the trilogy. John Hammond, played by Richard Attenborough, is the owner of Jurassic Park, a theme park located on Isla Nublar. After an incident with a velociraptor, Hammond brings in 3 specialists to sign off on the park to calm investors. The specialists: paleontologist Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill; paleobotanist Ellie Sattler, played by Laura Dern; and chaos theorist Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, are surprised to see the island park's main attraction are living, breathing dinosaurs, created with a mixture of fossilized DNA and genetic crossbreeding cloning. When lead programmer Dennis Nedry, played by Wayne Knight, turns off the park's power to sneak out with samples of the dinosaur embryos to sell to a corporate rival, the dinosaurs break free, and survivors are forced to find a way to turn the power back on and make it out alive. The film also stars Bob Peck, Martin Ferrero, B.D. Wong, Ariana Richards, Joseph Mazzello, and Samuel L. Jackson. Spielberg cited Godzilla as an inspiration for Jurassic Park, specifically Godzilla, King of the Monsters, from 1956, which he grew up watching. During production, Spielberg described Godzilla as the most masterful of all the dinosaur movies because it made you believe it was really happening. Jurassic Park is regarded as a landmark in the use of computer-generated imagery and received positive reviews from critics who praised the effects, though reactions to other elements of the picture, such as character development, were mixed. During its release, the film grossed more than $914 million worldwide, most successful film released up to that time, surpassing E.T., the extraterrestrial, and surpassed 4 years later by Titanic. And it is currently the 17th highest grossing feature film. Taking inflation into account, it is the 20th highest grossing film in North America. It is the most financially successful film for NBC, Universal, and Steven Spielberg. And if we just have a look at this image, we can see this is a 1917 skeletal diagram of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, I think, published by Henry Fairfield Osborne, which was the basis of the covers of Jurassic Park and Lost World, and subsequently the logo of the movies. So yeah, it is the most famous dinosaur of them all, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And something that I always noticed about the T-Rex, and I think a lot of people as well, is just how short his arms were. They really were very short for the size of the beast. And there we have the 3D poster for the re-release of Jurassic Park in 2013. We have the very famous giant gates there as you enter the park, which we see in the first movie. And here we have some more information on the sequels. We have The Lost World, Jurassic Park from 1997. Before The Lost World was published, a film adaptation was already in pre-production, with its release occurring in May 1997. The film was a commercial success, breaking many box office records when released. The film had mixed reviews, similar to its predecessor in terms of characterization. Much like the first film, The Lost World, Jurassic Park made a number of changes to the plot and characters from the book, replacing the corporate rivals with an internal power struggle and changing the roles of characterizations of several protagonists. When a vacationing family stumbles upon the dinosaurs of Isla Sorna, a secondary island where the animals were bred en masse and allowed to grow before being transported to the park, Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, is called in by John Hammond to lead a team to document the island to turn it into a preserve where the animals can roam free without interference from the outside world. Malcolm agrees to go when he discovers his girlfriend, paleontologist Sarah Harding, played by Julianne Moore, is already on the island, while at the same time Hammond's nephew, Peter Ludlow, played by Arliss Howard, has taken over his uncle's company and leads a team of hunters to capture the creatures and bring them back to a theme park in San Diego. The two groups clash and are ultimately forced to work together to evade the predatory creatures and survive the second island. Jurassic Park 3 from 2001, and I think we will skip over Jurassic Park 3 because the less said the better about that movie, I think. So here we have some more information on Jurassic World from 2015. Steven Spielberg devised a story idea for a fourth film in 2001 during production of Jurassic Park 3. In 2002, William Monahan was hired alive. Early aspects of the plot included dinosaurs escaping to the mainland and an army of genetically modified dinosaur-human mercenaries. Monaghan finished the first draft of the script in 2003. Sam Neill and Richard Attenborough were set to reprise their characters, while Keira Knightley was in talks for 2 separate roles. In 2004, John Sayles wrote 2 drafts of the script. Both drafts were scrapped and a new script was being worked on in 2006. Laura Dern was contracted to reprise her role, with the film expected for release in 2008. So yeah, there was a lot of delays, it sounds like, from the early drafts of the script to rewrites and eventually the movie being made and released. The film was further delayed by the 2007-8 Writers Guild of America strike. Yeah, that's something I don't actually know about. So we had a strike of writers in 2008. And let's see, we have more delays, yeah. And here we have some more information on the park. The film features a new park, Jurassic World, built on the remains of the original park on Isla Nublar. The film sees the park run by Simon Masrani and Masrani Corp and features the return of Dr. Henry Wu, played by B.D. Wong from the first film. Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Jake Johnson star, while Vincent, I can't pronounce his surname, Vincent D'Onofrio, I think that might be right, portrayed the main antagonist, Vic Hoskins. The cast also includes Laura Lapkus, Ty Simpkins, Nick Robinson, Omar Sy, and Judy Greer. The primary dinosaur antagonist is Indominus Rex, a genetically modified hybrid of Tyrannosaurus Rex and several other species, including Velociraptor, cuttlefish, tree frog, and pit viper. The Indominus Rex also features a chameleon-like camouflage ability, which was a plot element from the second Crichton novel, unused in previous films. Yeah, so a lot of that makes sense to me, having seen the first Jurassic World movie. And yeah, the Indominus Rex was the main protagonist in that movie. And I thought it was a good dinosaur. It was very menacing. And I also enjoyed the inclusion of the Velociraptors. And I particularly enjoyed towards the end when they attacked the Indominus Rex. And we have some more information there for the 2 sequels that followed, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and World Dominion. And we don't have time to read everything in the article, of course. It would take much too long, but I am attempting to read what I believe to be the most crucial information of the article. And we also have some television adaptations there. So there's a Lego animated project. So yeah, I'm sure kids would enjoy some animated Jurassic Park content. And here we have the cast and crew from the movies, and we'll just take a look at some of them. So the first movie, our main characters were played by Sam Neill, who, unbelievably, I didn't know was from New Zealand until recently. I don't know why. I've never known that before, but Yeah, he's from New Zealand. I guess it's probably because his accent never really gave him away. So yeah, that was a good bit of information to find out when I was doing a bit of research before filming this video. And we also have Laura Dern, who played Dr. Ellie Sattler in the first movie, and she had a small role in Jurassic Park 3, and yeah, she's back for the 2022 movie World Dominion. And then we had Jeff Goldblum playing Dr. Ian Malcolm, who was one of my favourite characters from the first movie. I loved his quirkiness, and of course he became the main character for the second movie. And he also made an appearance for Fallen Kingdom. It's a clip that I have seen. It's a very small role, and based on this information he does make a return for World Dominion as well, although I don't know how big the role is in that, of course. We also have Richard Attenborough, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, who I will always remember as Santa Claus from Miracle on 34th Street. That was one of my favourite movies as a kid. We also have Ariana Richards, who played Lex Murphy, and I remember her from another movie called Tremors. If you've ever seen that, it's sort of a slapstick comedy movie with Kevin Bacon. And we have Joseph Mazzello, and what I remember him from, other than Jurassic Park, is a movie called The River Wild, which stars Meryl Streep and Kevin Bacon. I think it's a really underrated movie, and I remember seeing it in 1994 at the cinema, and at the time I think I was about 9 years old, possibly 10, but the movie was rated a 12, and I remember my parents trying to convince the guy at the cinema to allow us to go in, and they straight up lied to the guy and said, "I know he doesn't look it, but he is 12. And I was like 9 or 10 at the time, but he did let us in, and I remember thoroughly enjoying The River Wild, and I've seen it many times since. So that's one of the movies I remember Joseph Mazzello from. We also had B.D. Wong, who has a small role in the first movie as one of the scientists, and he makes his return in Jurassic World and the following 2 movies as well, and I believe he is a villain in those movies. And then we have Wayne Knight, who played Dennis Nedry, of course, and he meets a very grim end. If you've seen the movie, of course you've seen the movie. You wouldn't be watching this if you hadn't, but yeah, you'll remember his death from the first movie. Very grim indeed. And who else do we have here? Yes, we have Bob Peck, who's no longer with us, and I really enjoyed the character of Robert Muldoon. He was the expert who handled the Velociraptor, and one of the most memorable scenes for me is when he's actually hunting them, and the Velociraptor actually catches him out, and it pops his head out from the side, and he's like, "Clever girl." Yeah, it's just a brilliant scene. I love that bit. So yeah, a really good actor, no longer with us, sadly. And of course we have the Samuel L. Jackson character, Ray Arnold. And what I remember of him is he was always smoking, and yeah, he was always kind of short with people. So yeah, I really like that character. And yeah, we just have a lot of information there about all the characters who were in all the main movies. So we won't go through them all, but as you can see there are a lot. Plenty of minor characters as well. And there we have some information on some crew members Williams, of course, the composer for the music of the first two movies, one of the best composers of all time. And here we have some of the figures from the box office performance. And you can see the budget there. Jurassic Park, $63 million. And it keeps growing with each movie. So we had 63 million in the first, then 73 million, 93 million, 150 million, and 170 million for Fallen Kingdom. No figures as yet for Dominion. And we can see how much it actually took at the box office as well. And there we have some accolades that it won. So it won sound editing, visual effects at the Academy Awards. And the second movie was nominated but didn't actually win any. Some information there in the music. Merchandise and other media, so we have all the toys and all the different kinds of merchandise, as I mentioned earlier. When I was at school, we had a lot of the boys owning the Jurassic Park school bags and lunch boxes, pencil cases, everything and anything that you can imagine that you can put the logo on. You would have seen in my class. It was just so popular. And before that, I remember Ghostbusters was very popular as well, and also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well. But Jurassic Park was such a crazy phase. It was just so popular in 1993. And then we have board games, comics, lots and lots of merchandise. Video games as well, which I have to admit I've never played before, but yeah, I can imagine them being good fun. And we also had attractions, theme parks, exhibitions as well. So yeah, that gives you a pretty good idea about the franchise of Jurassic Park, guys. And I will just scroll back up to the top here, and I will thank you guys for joining me for this Wikipedia reading of the Jurassic Park franchise. I had a really good time learning more about the franchise, and it has actually put me in the mood to go and watch the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom movie, which I mentioned at the beginning and throughout that I have never seen. But through reading this information, it has put me in the mood to go and watch that movie. And also probably end up completing the series with World Dominion as well. It's just such a popular series. I think if you enjoyed the first movies, you've got to continue it until the end and just see it through. Even though, as I've mentioned, I don't think they are quite as good as the original movies. But yeah, guys, that is just about it for this Wikipedia reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, be sure to hit the like button before you go. Consider subscribing to the channel as well for plenty more content like this in the near future. And if you want to see more Wikipedia style readings, I do have a playlist for it, which I will drop down in the description. There is only one other video as of the recording of this video, but there will be more added in the future. But a huge thank you once again for joining me, and until next time, rest easy, sleep well, and I hope to see you again very soon for another video, and goodbye for now.